I think I speak for the vast majority of the player base when I say the final shape has turned out to be kind of a banger, which is awesome because I know we all wanted the Light and Dark saga to end with a bang, and it really did. That being said, there's a couple of hot topics floating around the community lately, so against my better judgment, I'm going to weigh in on all of them so I don't got to repeat myself on stream as much. Timestamps are here, jump to whatever hot topic you feel like. Why don't we get the dumbest argument out of the way first? Is this or is this not a clock? Answer: who fucking cares? If you're out of the loop in the Dual Destiny mission, which dropped last week, there are 2 different times where you gotta share callouts with a teammate, and the first time the callout system shows up, some people are using clock callouts right away, and other people are just going 1 to 9 from left to right, because, quote, this is not a clock. The real answer is that as long as you're on the same page as your teammate and you're getting your loot drops, who really cares? Gotta say though, a lot of good memes did come out of this discussion, which I do appreciate. I think my favorite take was one reply from a tweet I really should have saved, but it was along the lines of, the only people who use clock callouts are those who watched YouTube guides going in. If you came to the first puzzle room completely blind, 100% of people would use 1 to 9 left to right. That one made me kind of chuckle because I went in blind and me and my partner both landed on clock callouts for the first puzzle. But then again, I spent a lot of time in school watching the clock, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Anyway, Bungie hasn't nerfed the double exotic loot glitch from that mission yet, and that's all I really care about. But before we get any further, let me give a shout out to Raycon, the sponsor of today's video. I know when I want to listen to music or a podcast, or even when I edit my videos, I want to tune out outside ambient audio. That's why my favorite earbuds are Raycon's everyday earbuds, and they've only gotten better with their new redesign. I've been using Raycon earbuds for years now, true story, and I have other earbuds, but these are all top tier. You've got a long 32-hour battery life, ergonomic design, and weatherproofing. These really are the best of all. Not only that, but the ability to connect to 2 devices at once, optimized gel tips for the perfect in-ear fit, and their goated active noise cancellations are reasons why Raycon has sold over 3 million of their previous everyday earbuds. If you work out, travel, or just like listening to music, podcasts, whatever, you gotta check out Raycon. Hit the link in the video description or go to buyraycon.com/fallout and get 15% off your Raycon purchase and free shipping. Again, buyraycon.com/fallout for 15% off and free shipping. Thank you, Raycon. All right, we back. And now that we got a silly, lighthearted one out of the way, how about a slightly tougher one? The Dual Destiny mission in general, and the fact that many players are mad that the mission literally cannot be done as a solo player. Right off the bat, I admit that I am speaking on the situation from a privileged position. I'm a content creator and could very easily find people I'm sure who would be more than happy to run the mission with me. Also, about 95% of the time, I'm a really social guy who genuinely enjoys chatting with other people and shooting the shit. However, I understand that not everyone is like me. I get how a mission literally requiring another fireteam member to do would be extremely annoying for solo players, and for that I sympathize. Just speaking for me personally and me alone, if Bungie sent out a survey asking, did you like this mission and would you like it if we made another mission like this, I personally would reply with a hard yes. Again, your answer may be different from mine, and I understand that. I'm just speaking for me. IMO, the Dual Destiny mission, was fun, totally out of left field, mildly challenging, and more than anything else, extremely creative. And that last part especially is something I love to see coming from Bungie and want more of. Again, to clarify, not missions demanding multiple players, but unique creativity in content the way that Dual Destiny came about. At the very least, I'm glad they made it so you technically only need to do the mission one time, i.e. after unlocking your class exotic armor, you can then farm drops as a solo player by opening chests in the Pale Heart. I know at the end of the day that won't really make a difference to a lot of solo players out there, nor will the fact that Fireteam Finder is a thing, as some players just genuinely prefer to play by themselves. I did find it really interesting that a Redditor came in hot and foaming at the mouth when Dual Destiny dropped, then came back several days later and apologized after having ran the mission via LFG and ending up loving it. I genuinely do tip my hat to that person. That was kind of a cool turnaround to see in the wild. At the end of the day, I get how some players are pissed off at the design philosophy behind Dual Destiny. And if the vast majority of new D2 content was turning in that direction, like if Final Shape dropped and it was all, oh, you can't even launch the campaign as a solo player, or you can't solo Lost Sectors anymore, or Bungie's removing matchmaking from strikes, or whatever. I'd definitely be more on board with telling Bungie to pump the brakes out here. But because this mission is only one of 2 things in the game I can really think of that you straight up just can't do by yourself, the other one being raids, I think some of the takes I've read about Bungie hating solo players might be a bit extreme. Either way, give Bungie your feedback on if you liked or disliked the mission via the forums or the regular methods and why. Fun fact, as long as you're not actively telling game devs to kill themselves, they do care about and want your feedback one way or the other. All right, next topic on the table. The new shader system still sucks and is no easier to navigate than it was before. Honestly, yeah, I agree with that. But speaking only for myself here, I officially no longer give a shit. I feel like coming up with a system where shaders show you exactly how they'll make your armor appear visually is a legit impossible task for Destiny to achieve, because there are hundreds of armor pieces in the game at this point, and almost all of them are wild and wacky. Even though the new shader preview does give you a slightly better idea of how it'll look when applied to armor, 90% of the time it feels like you still literally have to apply every shader one at a time to really know how it'll look on your armor. And that's something I've just come to terms with. I genuinely don't know how Bungie could improve upon the system further other than just giving players free reign to customize our Guardian's armor across the board, which I doubt would ever happen. If they do come up with a better way, I'm all for it, but in the meantime, it is what it is. All right, next up, the changes to dungeons and raids, i.e. the fact that they changed the power delta to always be 5 under now, and the addition of surges to all dungeons and raids. Not gonna lie, I am not on board with this change right now. I think dungeons and especially raids are some of the best content that Destiny has to offer, and doing what feels like raising the bar to entry for reasons I'm not really sure about, I don't know if that's the play. I think I'd like to see Bungie instead adding harder difficulty options and more ways to make raids challenging at the high end rather than at the low end. Make master raids more challenging and more rewarding and more unique. Do more shit like Pantheon, which I would not qualify as an entry-level activity, but it offered a more challenging twist for more experienced raiders. Raising the barrier to entry for little to no reason just seems weird, and I'm gonna say it, not a huge fan of surges in general. Yeah, it's fun when the surge happens to match up with your preferred damage option of choice, but I don't enjoy feeling forced to use whatever the surge is that week. Not everyone has a god roll cold comfort, Bungie. I didn't grind Ghosts of the Deep because I'm not a goddamn masochist. Don't force me to suffer under the umbrella of a stasis surge or whatever the surge is. Just let me use what I want to use, please, and thank you. If people really are, though, enjoying both the power delta change and the surges in general, let me know down in the comment section, but most people I've talked to so far don't really enjoy this change. Next up, the Pathfinder system isn't really that great. I kinda agree with this. I liked the idea of the Pathfinder system when I first heard about it, and I actually don't mind the Pale Heart Pathfinder options too much, other than the overthrow requirements, because overthrow is a frickin' slog. But combining the Vanguard, PvP, and Gambit options all into one Pathfinder tree, I don't know about that one. I think it might be a better idea for players to have a different Pathfinder tree for Strikes and for Crucible and for Gambit, so players really have more options under the umbrella that they enjoy. Next, Grandmaster Excision not having built-in matchmaking, i.e. if you want to do the Grandmaster difficulty version of the 12-player Excision mission, you gotta either have friends to go in with you or you roll in with however many people you got in the squad. I could go either way on this one. On one hand, adding matchmaking to this would probably be really fun. On the other hand, we probably don't have that option for the same reason we don't have matchmaking for Grandmaster Nightfalls or matchmaking for raids. It would be goddamned insanity. If Bungie wanted to F around with this and try releasing it though, I think I'd be interested in seeing how that would be received by the community. But again, I understand why it currently isn't a thing. Side note, that mission is goddamned awesome on GM difficulty, by the way. When the servers finally calmed the hell down and my entire team was able to get onto the game, and my one teammate actually finished the mission on normal difficulty, which was apparently a prerequisite, and we actually finally got into the mission. Goddamned, really fun, very enjoyable. Again, I love it when Bungie gives us weird, wacky, creative shit that we've never had before, and a 12-player GM level mission. I don't know how viable it's going to be moving forward to have more activities like that added to the game, but if it is possible, yes, I would like more, please, and thank you. Final thing on our list at the moment, Prismatic Titan feeling lackluster, especially in the enormous, ever-looming shadow of Prismatic Hunter, which is not only incredible at seemingly everything, but is also the current God tier punching class. Gotta admit, I can see how Titans would be really sad about that. I do think Titans have some fun options on the table for sure, but yeah, Hunters are really godly by comparison. And I'm not saying that I want Hunters nerfed, by the way. I don't. I'm hoping that Bungie goes through Prismatic with a fine-tooth comb and instead gives Titans a bit more to play with moving forward. It definitely also doesn't help that the newest raid boss, by the way, is basically a Hunter's wet dream, i.e., ooh woo, please don't hit my crit spot with double golden gun, and the Titan's literal worst nightmare. Can't hit the witness with a pyro gale or a falling star thunder crash. Good luck with that. Anyway, yeah, here's hoping that the punch bros out there will get some more love with Prismatic 2.0 or whatever they're gonna call it when they do their next deep dive balance patch. All right, that's it. That's all I got. Any other hot takes I haven't seen or forgot to mention, throw them down in the comment section. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.